White House's coronavirus task force. He was one of the very few people, then or now, brave enough to make a simple point. Here's what he said.
But the point about the schools is really critical because this is the most irrational public policy probably in modern history. Children have virtually zero risk of getting a serious complication, virtually zero risk of dying. You don't lock down the children because you are personally afraid. It's totally outrageous.
Dr. Scott Atlas was attacked as a monster for saying that, really attacked. Dr. Tony Fauci, by contrast, was deified. Signs throughout Northwest D.C. said, "I believe Dr. Fauci." But the truth is that Scott Atlas was right, and Dr. Fauci was revealed as a power-mad incompetent. That's not our opinion, by the way. The data prove it. Dr. Atlas resigned from his advisory role at the administration today. He's now a senior fellow at the Hoover Institution. We're happy to have him with us tonight. Dr. Atlas, thanks so much for coming on. This does seem like a vindication. Dr. Fauci's remarks seem like a vindication, and the opening of the New York schools as well, of your point that you made many months ago. And I'm just wondering how you're feeling as you watch that.
Well, I was just speaking about the data as I always did, and it's true that the data was correct then, and that children have extremely low risk of a serious illness and do not frequently spread this infection. That was known then. And we also knew the harms, the serious harms to children from closing in-person schools, and nothing's really changed. It's just that some of these things are now being acknowledged, including, other things like, for instance, people have protection beyond what an antibody test show, et cetera. But the point isn't that I was right. The point isn't that the advice I gave the president was right. The point isn't that the president was right, although those things are true. The point is that we really need to open up in-person schools ASAP because it's so destructive, so harmful to children. And there's really nothing more important for a country that I can think of than educating our children.
Of course. And that we still claim to believe that. We clearly don't. Our leaders clearly don't. But before we move on to the solution stage of the program, and I hope with you that comes soon, explain, if you would, why the people who had access to that data, which is everyone with a computer, people like Dr. Fauci, could have ignored what they were seeing from the studies. Like, how could they not have acknowledged this 6 months ago?
Well, I find myself asking that question, but we're living in an extremely polarized time. You know this as much as anybody. It's an election year. We have social media where people go sort of ballistic and feel empowered to do so. And, I don't know. I think there's a serious problem, honestly, in the country, because there's a bigger issue here, and that is that America and its universities really need to allow, without attack, without rebuke, without intimidation, the free exchange of ideas, because it is from the free exchange of ideas that scientific truths follow. And these scientific truths are critical for us to solve this crisis, every other crisis, and in fact, the free exchange of ideas is honestly the foundation of every civilized society.
Does it make you nervous for our future that the people in charge, people with long lists of credentials who should know better, presumably aren't stupid, embraced a kind of witchcraft or superstition and said things that were provably untrue for many months? What does that portend for our future if we continue to allow that?
I think this is very important. I think we see that objective journalism is nearly dead, and I think we now saw that science has been politicized, and it's very, very dangerous. I think we should all be very concerned about it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think so too. Dr. Scott Atlas, who we should say resigned today in a normal course of events after 130 days, I believe, serving the administration. Congratulations on being
okay. Thank you very much.